Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, subscribers and everyone? It's your boy Port Rock 77, and I'm back from the holiday break. I took like a little 2 week or so hiatus, visiting family up in New York. Got a little sick up there, but it was a good time. I had a good time visiting family and stuff, and I wasn't uploading videos or anything. But now I'm back. And it's great. I hope you all had a great holiday season. I hope you got gifts. You were able to provide gifts and whatever. Hope you had a safe New Year's and all that stuff. And I hope you're staying warm for those of you in the cold climates. Um, but let's kick this off. I'm looking forward to the content and the commentary I'm gonna provide for the rest of the year and stuff like that. Looking forward to the future podcasts. I host a 60 Frames No Lag podcast every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Looking to have some great guests, very diverse cast of guests. Xbox gamers, PC gamers, Nintendo gamers, male, female, whatever. You know what I'm saying? My channel's all about the diversity. It's all about not suppressing opinions as long as they're respectful. They could be a little bit aggressive. They could be aggressive opinions, just as long as the intent is not to attack anybody. You know what I'm saying? Or try to make people feel bad. As long as it's informative. And if it's not informative, hey, it's the podcast to call it out and make sure we get the right info and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's all about opinions and commentary. It's all about comments and stuff like that. So let me kick off my first video of the year. And in order to move forward, we have to finish off the past. We have to finish off 2016. And the way we finish off 2016 is pretty much what Microsoft and Sony does at the end of the year, and is their PR talk of how 2016 was. Now, of course, I'm going to give you my opinion. And in my opinion, I don't think Microsoft did a good job of how they handled their end of the year PR. And I'm gonna read a couple of things. So we'll kick off Sony first, because Sony's was a more simpler one. But pretty much their PR just ended off saying how and I apologize for not looking directly because I'm looking at the screen for reference. But they finished off their PR saying how PlayStation sold at 53 million worldwide, and that over the course of 2016, Uncharted sold 8.7 million copies, and over the course of the holiday break in November 11, 2016, they sold 6 million PS3s worldwide, and they sold, gamers bought over 50 million copies of games, whether it was physical or digital, 50 million copies of games. And that's pretty much their PR stuff. So Sony's angle is all about the results, the dollar signs, the numbers. It's all about how many consoles they sold. It's all about how their major title of 2016 performed, and they're about game sales. How much content are the PlayStation 4 fan base buying? Okay, so that's their angle, and that's pretty simple. Now let's go to Microsoft, which had a little bit longer PR talk, and I'll go over it real quick, and then I'll explain why I think theirs is not as good as Sony, and I don't think theirs is good at all. Anyway, so from what Xbox says, it says right here, we were privileged to celebrate 15th anniversary of Xbox in November, but what made 2016 most special was laying out our vision for gaming in E3 2016, delivering a new version of Xbox One along with great new games and services for you to play on the device of your choice, and seeing terrific response from gamers worldwide this holiday. In fact, in November and December, we saw Xbox Live engagement reach an all-time high of 3.9 billion hours, up 23% compared to prior year. Thank you. Now here's the stats. Looking back, we reached a number of exciting milestones in 2016. All right, so here we go from Microsoft. Xbox One owners enjoyed nearly 400 new games to play in 2016, including critically acclaimed console exclusives like Gears of War 4 and Forza Horizon 3. Forza Horizon 3 became the best-selling, highest-rated racing game in 2016 and the biggest Forza launch to date. The Forza franchise continues to grow and has now seen well over 14 million players on Xbox One and Windows 10. Gears of War 4 launched to critical acclaim, Game Informer 9.25 out of 10, IGN 9.2 out of 10, Polygon 9 out of 10, and has a tremendous reception for its campaign, Horde 3.0, and Versus multiplayer experiences, all of which are delivered in high dynamic range, Xbox One S, 4K, Windows 10, and support crossplay as an Xbox Play Anywhere title. We are seeing incredible engagement on Xbox Live with nearly 23 million Versus multiplayer and Horde matches played since launch, as well as within the esports world, where the Gears Esports Pro Circuit has marked the franchise dramatic return with a more than 1 million prize pool. The Xbox Play Anywhere program launched, which enables gamers to play a growing list of titles like Gears of War 4, Forza Horizon 3, ReCore, Killing Instinct Definitive Edition, Aerospace, and Astroneer on Xbox One and on Windows 10 PC at no additional cost. You can pick up where you left off on either device, bringing all your save games, add-ons, and achievements with you. Xbox One owners enjoyed more than 265 million hours playing Xbox 360 games in 2016, including highly requested titles like Red Dead Redemption, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty Black Ops, Call of Duty World at War, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and Skate 3 via Xbox One backwards compatibility. It was a big year for Minecraft community with the launch of Minecraft Education Edition, as well as the release of Minecraft to new platforms such as Gear VR, Oculus Rift, and Apple TV. In addition, 150 new features were added to Minecraft with more than 24 updates. With new titles for Windows 10 and growth in Windows 10 devices, gamers played more than 2.5 billion hours just in November 2016, which is a 127% increase compared to November 2015. Xbox Live was rated the fastest, most reliable gaming network in an independent study by IHS Markit in the US and UK. New system updates on Xbox One and Xbox app brought clubs and looking for groups, LFG on Xbox Live, as well as Cortana and background music. Since the release of Xbox One in 2013, over 200 new features have been added. Fans created over 2.4 million personalized Xbox wireless controller designs via Xbox Design Lab in the US, Canada, and Puerto Rico. Last but not least, we launched Xbox One S, delivering the only console with built-in UHD 4K Blu-ray, 4K video streaming, and HDR for gaming and video. New titles with HDR support includes Gears of War 4, Forza Horizon 3, NBA 2K17, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Final Fantasy 15, Elder Scrolls Online, and World of Tanks. Xbox One S was among the top-selling consumer products this holiday in many markets, and its launch helped set the engagement records we experienced. Looking forward, we expect 2020 to be a special year for Xbox gamers. So that's their PR stuff. Now, as you can tell, or maybe you can't tell, and this is just my opinion, you saw the two stark differences between what Sony did and what Microsoft did. Sony talked about results of their product. They talked about how much their product sold, how well with a specific value or numerical value the top game did, and how much content gamers bought. Now, what Microsoft did was just a recap of what happened during 2016, Vice explaining how all this stuff that they mentioned should have resulted in something. Do you understand what I'm saying? Talking about, for example, they talked about nearly 400 games to play in 2016, which include Gears of War. Forza Horizon 3 became the became the best-selling, highest-rated racing in 2016. Gears of War launched to critical acclaim. They talked about Xbox Play Anywhere. They talked about Xbox owners enjoyed 265 million hours in 360 games. Minecraft. Xbox being the fastest, most reliable gaming network. You understand? 200 updates. Okay, so all this stuff resulted in what? And that's why I think their PR stunts is not that good. Okay, so all this means what? What did it do for the Xbox? How many consoles did it sell? How many games did the Xbox consumers buy and purchase? Because here's the thing. There's PR stunts, granted, guys like me, commentators, fanboys, whatever side of the fence you want to talk about it, they use this information to talk shit or to comment on their channels, whether they want to do it with an intent to build a narrative or if it's just simply just to pass information, whatever. However you want to use information, you could use it. But the main intent behind this information is not for us commentators or even for IGN to just simply make an article on it. These PR information are for third-party publishers. That's who benefits from this piece of information. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the ones that produce majority of the games on the console. They're the ones that make the most games. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because there's a whole bunch of developers and publishers. You know what I'm saying? So the question is, what information is useful to EA? What information is useful to Activision? What information is useful to Ubisoft and Capcom? You understand what I'm saying? Now let's break down. Now obviously Sony's easy. Obviously the information Sony provided is easy. Hey, we're at 53 million consoles worldwide. We just sold 50 million games over the holiday from November 11th to the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? That's easy information for a third party to digest. It's pretty much saying there's a shitload of consoles. People bought a shitload of consoles. Gamers are buying a shitload of games. Pretty simple topic. Pretty simple information. EA could dig that. Capcom could dig that. Konami could dig that. That's information they could use. They know the console, how it's selling, and how much games people are buying. Pretty simple. But now let's look at this information. Xbox owners enjoyed nearly 400 new games to play in 2016, including critically acclaimed console exclusives like Gears of War 4 and Forza Horizon 3. Okay, nice info. How did they sell? How many of those titles did the gamers buy? Good job pushing 400 new games, but how did they do? How did they perform? How many games, how many software titles, both digitally and physically, did the Xbox One gamers actually went out and buy over the holiday period? Next one, Forza Horizon 3 became the best-selling, highest-rated racing game in 2016. All right. How many racing games did come out and how did they sell? I mean, if the second highest racing game, highest selling racing game was 300,000, then is that really a big deal that you sold 1 million or whatever? We don't know that. Why don't you just say how much the Forza Horizon 3 sold? Give a number. And here's another thing. The Forza franchise continues to grow and has now seen well over 14 million players on Xbox One and Windows 10. So now you gave Forza Horizon 3 a little blurb, and then you brought out the franchise total. Why talk about why include Forza Horizon 5 from 2013, Forza Horizon 2 from 2014, and Forza Horizon 6 from 2015? You know what I'm saying? And then they go, Forza franchise continues to grow and has now seen well over 14 million players. Now, those 14 million players unique? Because I'm pretty sure the people playing Forza Horizon 3, majority were playing 5, 6, and Forza Horizon 2. That's kind of like saying Call of Duty over the last 5 years have seen over 100 million players. When we know it's not 100 million players because it's the same players over and over. You just don't go 20 million 1 year plus 20 million plus 20 million plus 20 million plus 20 million, add them all up and be like, look, that's 100 million players. Majority of the same players. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't think it's 14 million unique players. You understand what I'm saying? And again, this is supposed to be a 2016 wrap up. Why are you bringing back all the forces going back to day one? Gears of War 4 launched a critical acclaim. Yeah, we got that. IGN, you cherry picked the sites, which is fine. Had a tremendous reception for its campaign. Okay, thank you for telling us something we already knew because we read the reviews, all of which are delivered in HDR. We knew that. Thank you for reiterating that. And it's an Xbox Play Anywhere title. Okay, we already knew that. You didn't have to say it again to finish off 2016. You understand what I'm saying? We are seeing incredible engagement on Xbox Live with nearly 23 million versus multiplayer and horde matches. So you're bragging about how many multiplayer matches and horde matches were played. How did the game do? How many copies did it sell? That's an important metric. That gives an idea of how top AAA killer apps are selling on Xbox. That gives people an idea. When they hear, hey, Gears of War sold 4 million copies over the holidays or something, or 2 million copies, something, that gives confidence that the developer sees that, hey, Xbox gamers are buying big AAA titles. Or if you're going to brag about Xbox Play Anywhere, how did Xbox Play improve sales? You could say, hey, normally non-Xbox Play Anywhere titles, or whatchamacallit, you could say Xbox Play Anywhere titles see an increase of 23% more sales as compared to non-Xbox Play Anywhere titles. At least do something like that. Like, give us an idea. Like, what does EA take away from the information? What does Activision take away from that information? If you would have said, hey, Xbox Play Anywhere titles tend to perform 23% better, 42% better in sales. Something. Give us a metric. What's the advantage of Xbox Play Anywhere? Granted, to the gamer, you could say, you get to play. You have a PC version and an Xbox version, but I wonder how many gamers are in that position because where I see it, I don't think there'll be that many gamers who's gonna own two platforms that does the same thing. Why go out and get a PC that plays the same game as Xbox? Or if you're already a PC gamer and you could get access to these games, why would you go out and buy an Xbox if it's just gonna play the same exact games? And people be like, well, you get a free copy. Well, no, not really. For that, just go buy a PS4 or a Nintendo Switch and play completely different games that you can't already play on PC. So that's just me. All right. Xbox Play Anywhere program launched, which enabled games to play a growing list of games like Gears of War already ready. We already knew that though. We already knew about the Xbox Play Anywhere program. So why recap it? Talking about Minecraft and it's launched on Gear, Oculus Rift, and that. Okay. Um, Titles for Windows 10 grows in devices. All right. And then they mentioned again, Xbox Live was rated the fastest, most reliable gaming network. This was something that they even preached back in June, but let's say it again. And then let's talk about recapping how you got updates and clubs, and let's talk about how many people bought custom controllers. Which okay, I'm sure EA will be real happy knowing that 2.4 million people bought more controllers. And then of course reiterate what the Xbox One S does with a UHD 4K player. So I don't think this is a good PR thing. To me, it just seems like they had to say something just to say something. When the meat and potatoes is all this stuff, all this information should have resulted in something. It should be a result. It shouldn't be a regurgitated statement. It should be because of all this. We saw an increase of Xbox Live sales by 83%, which will now puts it at 25 million, 27 million, 30 million, whatever. All these features and stuff like that saw an increase in game sales of 35, 40 million over the holiday period, an increase of 15% year over year. Something that gives confidence to third party publishers. Now, this is the reason why it's a big deal. It ain't a big deal, not so much for the gamer, but it is for the industry. Because there are developers out there. Not all developers will be able to support multiple platforms at the same time. Some can only choose two. You understand what I'm saying? Whether it's a combination of Xbox and PS4, or Xbox PC, or PS4 or PC, whatever it is. These type of information helps publishers and developers decide what direction to go to. Whether they could say, hey, it could be a fine line of, hey, we can only support two platforms, so we're going to support PS4 and PC now, and then we'll see to bring this onto Xbox One later on. And you see that a lot. A lot of games you see are coming on later on the Xbox One. It's coming out first on PS4, PC first, and then a couple of months once they have the budget or the time or whatever, or maybe they're waiting for the sales of the PC, PS4 version, and then once they accumulate that money, then they create the Xbox One version. But these type of information helps developers and publishers make those decisions. Now the bigger ones are not going to have so much of a problem, like EA, Activision, the real big, huge publishers. But if you notice the smaller publishers, like Konami or maybe Square Enix or stuff like that, they may not have the budget to support all three platforms unless they know it's a very big game or something, or independent developers, something. But whatever it is, you need the good PR. The PR is for the publishers, to get them, to help them to see what you're doing. I don't think Microsoft did a very good job. I think they just regurgitated information and put it together on one page, and they just say, "Hey, here you go. This is what happened. This is a recap." So their stuff is more like a recap of 2016 Vice, showing the results of 2016. Because all these things they said should have led to something, and that something is how many consoles were sold and how many games were bought. That's really the meat and potato of end of the year wrap ups. And I don't think Microsoft did a good job and stuff. All right. But anyway, that's my first video. This is just to get me back in the swing of things. Anyway, my next video I'll talk about Aaron Greenberg's comment of 2017 being the year of the Scorpio. That'll be an interesting video. So I'll be making that video and I'll publish that soon and stuff like that. I'll have my podcast this Wednesday at 7 p.m. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I could get in touch with some guests and kick stuff off. And that's it. But anyway, so that's my first quick video. Let me know what you think and stuff. Hit me up on Twitter, PorterRock77. I'm looking for input on what topics you want me to talk about as well. I got a lot of topics that I want to bring up too. But just let me know if there's anything you guys want me to speak on and stuff like that. Whether it's just a video or to talk about it on the podcast. But anyway, looking forward to 2017. Hope this video was informative. Anyway, you guys take care and, keep it gaming. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm out. Peace.